We've been asked a lot of the same questions over the years about RSStB, so we thought we'd make a video to answer some of those questions. First thing, do we write anything down?
Usually we just improvise the whole skit. If we do have something written down, maybe we have one line written down that we wrote down on our idea list. Sometimes if we have an idea, we write it down, but usually we don't use any ideas from the list.
Yeah, we have a text file with maybe one sentence summaries of skits, but we usually refer to it before we make a video, but we don't use a lot of the ideas. We usually just come up with something spontaneous. And then we shoot in order sequentially so that we can take the plot in any order, any way that we want, and we can end it when we want to.
Yeah, because sometimes when we start the skit, we don't know how we're going to end it.
Right. A lot of the time the end just comes about by shooting something and then saying, is that a good ending? We usually try to cut off the skit where we don't think it's going to get any funnier at the highest point. So, I don't know. Some people have said that the endings can be abrupt. Other people like them. We personally like the endings to be the way they are. It's intentional. Am I that mean in real life?
No. The Alex that you see in the skits is not like Alex in real life. We don't play ourselves. The Alex in the skits is supposed to be like an idiot. He's supposed to be what we think is really stupid and funny.
Yeah, we draw a lot of inspiration from the things that we don't like about people. So
usually in a skit, Alex is playing someone who we think's really funny.
Right, something that we don't agree with.
Right.
Has anyone ever commented on whether or not RSStB is misogynistic? And that sort of goes with the previous question.
Right. People they'll ask about anger management or skits where you're really in my face, and we think that that's ridiculous. And as soon as the camera stops, we both laugh, and we just think that
we think it's ridiculous, that behavior. That's
right.
Why we put it in the skits. We think it's funny to sort of make fun of that. And the Honeymooners was all bang, zoom type stuff. Right. Whose brother is Charlie, and why isn't he in the videos as often as he used to be?
Yeah, we did one skit a long time ago where Charlie was my brother, but he's Alex's brother, and now he's in college, so he lives a little further away, so we don't get to see him as much.
Yeah, in the beginning we had some videos that were sort of out of character or out of the normal place that we created. We kind of honed the show and came up with what the characters are going to be about in the specific scenarios, but in the early videos, some of them we don't know each other, right, or we're flirting with other people or something like that. And those are usually the suggestions that people come up with when people suggest skits to us. A lot of the time, the most popular suggestion is that one of us cheats on each other, but we think that's out of character because we think one of the funny things about RSStB is that we have this dysfunctional relationship, but yet it's healthy. And my friend and I, this guy Paul, who does a lot of our artwork, we were talking about Ren and Stimpy, and I was saying that it would be out of character for Stimpy to outsmart Ren in one episode. So it's
right. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't part of our characters. That
right.
would just be not RSStB.
Why isn't Joey in the videos anymore?
Joey moved, unfortunately. He lives in another state now, but if he were here, he'd be in skits.
Yeah. Why did we delete a lot of our old videos? We used to use a lot of copyrighted music. We used to put a lot of pop songs in the videos, radio songs, and that was in the early days of YouTube when you can get away with that. But now they didn't have partnerships back then. They didn't have bots trolling YouTube looking for copyrighted material, and it's nowadays you can get strikes on your account and stain your account by having copyrighted material, and YouTube won't partner up with a video that if you don't own all the distribution rights.
Right, so that's why now Alex makes the songs that we use, and Paul does all of our artwork because we really like his style, and it gives our show a certain look to it, all the same look.
Yeah, and we have him draw, if he can, anything that we need. In the tattoo skit, he drew the tattoos that appear because we don't want to use anyone else's images. We want to own the skits entirely. And those old videos, a lot of them were deleted, hundreds of them, but they're available on the DVDs on rickyshore.com. So, how long does it take to shoot and edit an episode?
Well, shooting it's usually pretty quick because we don't do multiple takes unless we really, mess up. So it could take anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour, is about average. Sometimes if it's more complicated, it could be longer.
And then editing it will be longer if there's a lot of back and forth dialogue in separate shots between us, but if we're in the same shot talking, then it's pretty easy to edit. And then something like the haircut skit took a long time because I had to isolate all the hairstyles on Photoshop and then layer them over the picture and have it look right, and it was a little bit difficult. But editing it probably takes about anywhere between half an hour to 2 hours, and then compressing it and uploading it to YouTube can be an hour or something like that. And then now that I have to make these thumbnails for the videos, because we have that partner feature where we can upload our own thumbnails, I spend about 20 minutes making a little colorful graphic on Photoshop. Because I've been learning all these programs myself because it's easier to, rely on myself to do them than other people. We used to have a friend make music for us, but it was just more practical for me to learn GarageBand and bang out something on a keyboard before we do the videos. But I can't draw, and I don't want to spend a lot of time learning, so it's nice to have Paul be able to come up with the stuff that we need. What kind of equipment do we have? The Canon EOS 60D. We used to have a Canon GL1, and now it's got a Rode video mic on the top of it. And we want to buy an XLR audio adapter.
And then you use Final Cut Studio Pro, and right?
Yeah. I used to use Adobe Premiere, but I got a Mac after my old computer crashed. That was about 40 skits in that I started using Final Cut. Would we ever make a skit about, like, a suggestion?
Another thing that sometimes people will suggest a skit that we can't do because it takes place in outer space or something.
Yeah, we don't want to come up with the time to create a blue screen out of this back wall and create an outer space effect. We're more influenced by films that take their time, that are more independent and are more character based. So
yeah, we don't really like a lot of stylized editing and tricks like that.
yeah, that's more of a TV thing. And as I said, we're more influenced by film. And a lot of people have asked us, this is another frequently asked question, if we're ever going to make an RSStB movie. We think of RSStB as sort of one big movie, so if we made a movie, it would be the same thing as what we upload.
But we are making a horror movie.
Right, but we're not playing the characters that we play in RSStB.
Right. Yeah, we don't know each other at the beginning of the horror movie.
Right, but they're similar characters.
Right,
it's going to be a similar
us,
tone.
Our style.
Right, but it won't be as silly. But it'll still be, whatever. It'll be what it is. But, let's see.
Oh, how do we come up with our ideas?
Yeah, that's my favorite question. Stephen King has a funny part in his book On Craft that he talks about, where he talks about how he's friends with Amy Tan and some other writers, and one of the benefits of being friends with another writer is that you know that they don't know where they get their ideas, and that question is never asked because who knows. It's not like we go out into the woods and pull out a pad of paper and spin around in a circle and an idea comes to us.
Right, and we usually reject a lot of our first ideas when we sit down to make a skit, and
that's something that people don't realize, because a lot of people have suggested skits to us that we haven't made, and I think some people get their feelings hurt or bent out of shape, and what they don't realize is that we reject way more of our own ideas than we make. Right. It's not like we just make the first skit that comes to mind. Then where does the name come from? I made this video in college for a friend's class, and it started in the middle of a scene, and I needed a random piece of dialogue, so I told this person just to say, have you heard the new Ricky Shore album, Ricky Shore Sings the Blues? And then I was driving past my old house that I grew up in a couple years ago, and I noticed that I grew up across the street from a stereo shop called Mickey Shore. That's a chain in Detroit.
Yeah, Shore is spelled differently.
Yeah, and Mickey is with an E before the Y.
Yeah.
And that's about it. The name's just supposed to be silly. It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, we're not Ricky, either one of us.
Right, but it would be better than Alex and Marissa's fun show or whatever. Alright, so I hope we answered your questions, and thanks for listening.